Okay, so it is, what the hell is it? It's Sunday. It is, September, 22nd, maybe 3rd. I'm not exactly sure. Sunday, September 22nd, 23rd on 2019. This is another diary entry. We're back to the hints about people, women sent after me. This is going to be definitely a free form. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I'm a little out of the diary mode thing, and we've been doing the interviews with Brittany. So I got sidetracked on that because I wanted, obviously, witnesses to these mass extermination operations since 5 years old. Label me as a violent, paranoid schizo. At 5 years old for my family, so they can control and get whatever they want. This is the job you do. This is the women you date. This is if you're allowed to smile or cry or frown or yawn or whatever, or take naps. We control all that, and if you defy us, you date the women we give you, like Adriana Olivares, and if you defy us, then we're gonna lock you away in jail or rid you of the world or whatever. Okay? And the more you defy us, the more we're gonna punish you by putting you in jail cells or mental institutions or trying to make you look crazy for defying, not doing anything wrong. We're not talking about crimes. We're talking kind of like a kingdom, right? You kill for me, and if you don't, I lock you in jail or something like that, right? Things that most people don't have to deal with. And so there's tons of people sent after me using names like Victoria or Victoria Walker lookalikes, or things hinting about Victoria sent after me, or by Brian Longbotham. Tons of people hinting about Adriana Olivares. My father tried to force on me, you have to date and marry or whatever, and you're like, I don't want this girl, whatever, right? She comes off like a complete nutso, or actually I didn't really think of that at first. I just like, this girl's an immature brat and I'm just not interested. But if you don't date them, you're hunted and killed for it with worldwide support, which doesn't make any sense. It's the weirdest, freakiest thing. Well, what's it all about? Well, it all starts at a very young age. We're going to tell the world our son's a violent, paranoid schizo to dictate every single aspect of his life. And if he doesn't do it, we tell him, we're going to hunt him down and kill him, mob him to death, make him mentally ill, make him look crazy, and then try to lock him in jail or mental institutions. And that might actually happen because nobody actually thinks that this is wrong. That is the strange part. Okay, so anyways, I guess I have to say that's my fate, because if I end up in jail, it's not because I want to go to jail, it's because that's what my family wants for me, because they hate my guts and their anger and rage, because at 5 years old, my mother and father said, I don't want this kid, and they had a tissy, some kind of super tantrum, and we're going to invest every minute and every cent to rid our son of the world and exterminate him. And that's not my fault, and so for history's sake, if something really bad happens to me, or I end up in jail or whatever, that's not my choosing, that's their choosing from their actions and their behaviors, starting at 5 years old, and refusing to say hunting my son down and torturing and killing him, and trying to emotionally blackmail him into what we want, or we hunt him down, torture, kill him, or lock him away, has nothing to do with me other than I'm the victim. Okay, that being said, I'm going to sort of talk about Seymour Amster, my lawyer that I'm getting away from now at the end after the jury trial and the appeals, because Seymour Amster intentionally lost the trial and he intentionally lost the appeals. Now, I don't have a super lot of proof on the jury trial, but from the things I tell you, you'll be like, yeah, that's just a load of shit. Especially with him quoting My Cousin Vinny lines, because he was mad at me making Twitter jokes about My Cousin Vinny, way before ever hiring him, way before the arrests, showing that, okay, first of all, if you're a narcissistic murderer, you're gonna think that if Kevin Perlman makes My Cousin Vinny jokes and you're a lawyer, then you might think it's about you. But if you're a sane, rational person, you're not gonna give a shit if some guy's making My Cousin Vinny jokes. You're gonna laugh, that's funny. Okay, so when Seymour is up on defending me, screwing me over, and making My Cousin Vinny lines, quoting them to sort of belittle me while throwing me to jail, it's not because I said something mean, because quoting My Cousin Vinny lines and Utes is not me. He's just sort of trying to make me think I did something wrong, to make me think that what's being done to my life is my fault, if that makes sense. And that's generally what happens with abusive people, is that they make you feel like you're the bad guy. You know, you might be sitting there minding your own business, you're minding your own business, and your father might start bashing your skull in with a crowbar like my brother does to people, right? And he might say it's because you drink a Coca-Cola out of the fridge and you're a bad person. But are you a bad person because you drank a Coca-Cola out of the fridge, right? You understand. So we're talking about an extremely beyond any level of abusive family with endless resources tied in the government, billions of dollars, and they're going to end up throwing their son in jail. They're going to end up throwing their son in jail, and then they're going to say, it's my fault. I wanted to go to jail because I didn't take the plea bargain into mental institutions. But wait, why are they trying to get me into mental institutions since 5 years old? That's the part that doesn't make any sense. My entire life has been about people trying to put me into mental institutions. Doesn't make much sense. How many people do you know that are running around my family trying to put me in a mental institution? 0? None? Right? It's like, it doesn't even make any sense. Okay, so 16, my brother. Me and my friends put a teacher in a mental institution, then saying we have a bug in your room, and we're listening to everything you do on the radio to try to put me into a paranoid state, which didn't work, and things like that. Right? Think about that. Then it links to Adriana Olivares, and I'm not interested in dating her, with little threats with the movie Quills, how I better not say anything or they're going to put me in a mental institution, right? I'm kind of tired, so I can't think of all the mental institution people that have come in my life. Let's see, who else? Who else came in my life with a mental institution thing? I can't, you know, it'll probably come back to me, but it's been so long. There's just so many, right? Prosecutor Karen T. Phillips through Seymour Amster, I think it appears that she screwed up, but if you check into a residential, not really a mental institution, but somewhere where they throw clinical labels on you for a couple weeks, then she'll drop the whole thing, whatever. My family, Arnold Silver, my stepfather, saying that he knows this lady Deborah Bear from the Aleph Institute that can help me after they threw me into jail right before the appeals, and she tried to get me to scare me into going up to the judge for no reason, based on probation violation scare tactics, and walk up like a crazy man and say I want to be put in a mental institution. And then I believe there were statements from Seymour possibly saying that I want to be put in a mental institution and I want to be put in jail. Well, I mean, that's just completely absurd, because I'm not the one having cops follow myself around or worldwide groups taking turns in anger and rage on myself. They are. They don't really have any type of reason behind it, which is strange. Other than the family, it says you date and marry, and this is the clothing you wear, and you be a good devout Jew, and you go to a temple every single day of your life, even though we don't, and we fit the Nazi Okay, let me put it this way. My family's Jewish. I'm born Jewish. I am Jewish, but I'm not really. I'm more of like an agnostic Jew. Like, I don't really believe in it. I've never really read the Torah. I don't believe in the readings. I've never read the readings, and I believe more about freedom of believing there's something higher out there, and that there's 100 different books with different agendas or whatever about religion and lessons. And I think the meaning is not about a word-for-word verbatim book about religion from someone's standpoint of what Jesus said. I think, or if they even believe in Jesus, because some religions don't believe in Jesus, but more so in just be a good person. Your actions speak for you, and actions speak louder than words, and if you're a good person, your actions will show it. And that's all. Okay, so if some Jew, yes, I'm Jewish, but I'm saying it that way, if some Jew says, I'm Jewish, you need to be Jewish, you need to do this, you need to do that, this Jew has never even, I'm actually referring to like my stepfather, Arnold Silber, my mother, and my brother, and my father. Those Jews have never even read the fucking Torah, okay? And they call themselves Jews, and then Arnold Silber pays off everyone in the Jewish community and flies to Israel and donates in the Jewish community, doing what? Trying to look like a Jew, okay? Do you understand? That's not Jewish. That's a Nazi. I'm Jewish, you better become a Jew or I kill you or I lock you away in jail cells or mental institutions. That's not a Jew. That's not what a Jew would believe in. A Jew would say you don't have to do anything but just be a Jew, or if you don't want to be a Jew, that's okay too, or if you don't believe in your religion, in the Jewish religion, and want to, whether you're born Jewish or not Jewish, then do whatever the fuck you want. Go for it, right? But the point I'm making is that backwards. The point I'm making is that being Jewish or any religion is not about telling people what they have to do, or you kill them or lock them in cages or eradicate them or put them in mental institutions. That's not Jewish. Well, there's Arnold Silber and my mother, and they fly around and they be part of this Jewish community, and they fly to Israel with these special upper-level groups of Judaism, and then they're going around doing what the Nazis did. So is that Jewish? No. Okay, so now let's talk about what Seymour Amster and every other lawyer was pretty much paid off to do. Because this is important. Like I said, with this mental illness agenda, lock me in a mental institution or force me in a mental institution with this emotional blackmail, I have to do whatever I'm told, or they're going to lock me away, or incarcerate me for life. Why? There's no answer. You turned 5 years old, you've been hunted since. Families running around. Kevin's violent, paranoid, schizo. Kevin's done this. Kevin's done that. Yet I haven't done anything. I've been a really good person. And then I find out at 29 with Mike Huntley, you're a dead man. We're using the system against you with the police. I've given you enough rope to hang myself. Well, what does that mean? I didn't brush my teeth one night? I mean, so now I'm being hunted by billions of government dollars? Okay? Doesn't really make sense. So if I end up in jail, that's going to be the reason. I had a family, they hated my guts, they hunted me down with every resource known to man, and that's it. Now, I understand that that's not what the world's being told, because everywhere I go, I met with billions of people, probably over 4 billion people now want me dead and gone. Why? There's no answer. There's no answer to anything. It doesn't make any sense. They just babble things over and over. Take care, take care, take care. Perfect, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Hey, 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 hey. And you're just like looking at these people like I totally missed something. Are these people fucking nuts? But remember, and they are, but remember, we're not dealing with one of them. We're dealing with a mass worldwide conspiracy. There's a worldwide campaign to kill me because I said hey to a girl named Heather that was paid off to hunt me down and kill me, starting at Yankee Doodles and then going to every other place, following me from place to place. Okay? That doesn't really make much sense. And then it switches to the next girl, like Aubrey Fisher, like that. The next girl sent out to me, like Ariana. And this person, the next person, the next person. Okay, so what's it about? Well, who knows? Okay, so they just do these weird cryptic things that keep changing every minute by minute. But it's not about anything. Okay, so, Seymour Amster. Okay, now remember I called thousands of attorneys. They all were contacted by Detective Angela Stewart. Don't help Kevin, and all the paralegals work on him with the lawyers saying bye-bye as you hang up. After she said bye-bye, what's about, I can't tell you. Okay, so, and that's because I called the police and asked them for help, right? I'm being attacked by these mass groups, and they wouldn't help me. Okay, so now you're going to say, well, why would the police be mad at you? Once again, I don't know. I was born. I went to Southern Oregon State College. I went to Calhoun High. I went to Southern Oregon State College. I went to University of Colorado. I've been hunted every place, every person since 5 years old. I can't answer the question. Okay, so now we have a father. He wants me dead and gone. They all just want me dead and gone. It's not really. Is it about control? That's a really complex issue. I think it's about control on the surface. I have a son, I want to kill him, but I'm going to torture him and kill him and lock him away in the name of control. You do what we say, we're going to ratchet down tighter and tighter until you're just gone. You're in a cell or a cage, or we try to make you look like a violent paranoid schizo, which is one of my family's labels at 5 years old. Just pulling it out of their ass with their psychology degree because they hate my guts. Okay, so Seymour Amster. We finally, at last minute, go, well, I got to pick one lawyer who's going to fuck me over because they were all told, don't give this guy a fair trial. Seymour Amster, the entire court refused to bring in any evidence supporting my argument, no matter how much proof of me being hunted by all these people, not just Terrence Scroggins and not just Greg Koenig, but insane worldwide groups, minute by minute, which is still going on today. I'm kind of driving out here right now. I'm in Agoura. I'm going out to Oxnard. Almost every parking lot, every person is doing the parking cars in such ways to try to create mental illness and make you look like a violent paranoid schizo. Why? Who knows? And they're going to say he's crazy, he's imagining it, yeah, but the world knows the truth, so that doesn't make sense. Okay, so eventually, they send me to Pitch's Wayside on these misdemeanors, because they want to beat the shit out of me in jail, because they want to leave that taste in my mouth. Shit, I don't want to go back here, right? And really, I don't want to go back there. It's a horrible place to be, especially when everyone's told to take turns in anger and rage on you. It's just a shitty place to be. So think about it. Okay, so now comes the appeals. We get you out on the appeals. We bail you out on the appeals. And we bail you out on the appeals. And I'm really too weak, and I shouldn't have to. First of all, I shouldn't have to be double-checking my lawyer's work and reading over my lawyer's work, things like that, because if I pay a lawyer, he's supposed to say this is unacceptable, I'm going to defend you. And that would happen with every other person on the planet. So what's the point? The point is, this guy can't drive, so I gotta let him. So the point is, Seymour files the appeal. Now this is most important. My mother and stepfather say we read over the appeals. It looks good. Okay. Now, Deborah Baer, Seymour tries to sneak me into a session where he unethically contacts Deborah Baer, a person in the Elif Corporation who supposedly keeps people out of jail, whatever. And keeps people out of jail. And so, he sneaks her in, and they do the, well, you know, they might file for this probation violation with Dennys, who's fabricating more lies, right? Now, that lie was I supposedly threatened to kill all Starbucks customers. Okay, now I sort of exposed Dennys for the douchebag he is on the internet. But it doesn't matter. Oh, and that's right, that's the point. They want me to go and check in, walk up to a judge and check into a mental institution. Now, Brittany has seen the audio recordings. She's heard the audio recordings of this. She's like, what the fuck? Right? Now, some of that's on some of the Brittany, what do you want to call them, interviews or sessions that I have documented and videoed on the internet. Okay, so, so where the hell am I? So you get the idea. Okay, so now Seymour tells me, and everyone in front of me, he tells Brittany, he tells my mother, even though they're the ones obviously paying off Seymour to fuck me over and rid me of the world. If he loses the appeals, that he can file it up, he can bring it up to the next level of court, appeals court. Okay, so now Seymour tells me they're going to make a decision, and I wait a little while and I don't hear from him, so I go on the court computer and look, and I realize, wait, the decision's been made. Why didn't he tell me? Why didn't he want me to know, right? So I text him, and he says, and I have a lot of interactions with Brittany on the internet about this. So he texts me, and he says, oh yeah, you know, you lost the appeals. And so I call him up, and I'm like, well, you refiled it, you're bringing it to the next level of appeals court, right? And he says, no, I don't think I'll win, I don't want to. I'm like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't want to, right? Okay, right, you understand, you don't want to. You're my lawyer. You're supposed to, quote unquote, keep me out of jail. And the definition of keeping someone out of jail, or winning, or defending them, is to get the argument of their innocence in court to show that they don't need to be in jail. That's the defense attorney's job. But Seymour has intentionally lost. Now I looked at so then I go, so he sends me the decision paper, and I go, something doesn't look right with this. Example, in the appeals decision, he says, he talks about things like unusual punishment. Well, I mean, that's kind of like, isn't that like an admission to guilt? Whether it is or isn't, it's sort of off topic, right? The topic is, was the trial fair? And what about these charges, in regards to these charges? So the only charges Seymour ever focused on was First Amendment freedom of speech, passing out cards. Which, yes, is important. It's very important. But for this guy that probably got paid $50,000 to $100,000, stealing money, endangering people's lives, going against what the Bar Association, this guy should easily get 30 years in jail. Okay? He is a defense attorney, and he's obligated to defend his client. He refused to defend his client. He did not, in the appeals, fight against the 422 criminal threat fabrications by Dennys. He did not fight against the battery charge that was fabricated by the Topanga Division LAPD when I called the court first. And I read the papers, and he leaves out everything about how he could have stated, Kevin called the police first, he could have did all this shit. And he could have did that on the stand too. And he refused. Okay, so the point is that that Seymour intentionally lost the appeals, and even in the appeal statement, he states that I need therapy. Okay, how many people do you know that hire a defense attorney, and the defense attorney says, oh, my client's crazy, and he needs therapy, and he's a horrible murderer, and he's a criminal. Oh, and give me $50,000 or $100,000. Right? Okay, now, once again, my family states that they read the appeals, and it looks great. It looks really good. Now, I'm not a fucking lawyer, but I can guarantee that if any common layman reads that appeals, they'll be in shock. Okay? And that's why the appeals is going up on my website with it annotated for me. And I can't tell you if they're going to lock me away forever, or lock me in jail, or whatever, or something really bad is going to happen to me. But what I can tell you is they're on their same agenda with my family, with my attorney that refuses to help me, Seymour Amster, which has been every attorney. We won't help you. Why? I don't fucking know. Wanting to lock me into some kind of facility with mental illness labels. Okay, now think about that. Why does someone want so bad for 42 years, yes, all day, night, 24/7, girl after girl sent after me, my father hunting me down with every resource on the planet. This entire arrest is a blackmail thugging to get me into some kind of mental facility. Okay? Which all links back. My brother, me and my friends put a teacher in a mental institution and telling me he has a bug in my room, and they're listening to everything I do on the radio. Deborah Bear, you can get out of this by going into a mental institution. Just going through thing after thing my entire life. We are obsessed with putting Kevin Perlman into a mental institution, and if we can't get him into a mental institution, we're gonna lock away and incarcerate him for life. For what? Because they ate some ramen soup or something, and Jews aren't allowed to eat ramen soup? I mean, right? Nothing makes any sense. Okay, so, that's all I know. That's, if someone had an argument to a real crime, there would be an argument about a crime, and not fabricated charges about bullshit, and, fabricated. And remember, they're all misdemeanors, too. Okay, so, and even, according to Seymour, that Karen T. Phillips stated she knows she kind of fucked up, and she just wants me to go for 2 weeks into a residential mental facility. Well, why do you want someone to go for only 2 weeks into a mental facility after 42 years of hunting someone down, trying to get them into a mental facility since 5 years old? Okay, think about that. Okay, you can't just look at the last minute and go, oh, well, you're in this position, so there's an out. Well, yeah, but what's the cost of that out, right? What's the cost of checking me into a $100,000 residential mental facility that looks like Club Med and has swimming pool and gorgeous women? What's the cost? Do you understand? They're not doing it because they just want the best for you. They're doing it because they're sugarcoating the fucking... I don't know, how can I say this? They're sugarcoating the fucking knife they're putting in the cake to stab you, right? I mean, that's what they're doing. Okay, to stab you in the back. That's my family. Since 5 years old, all day and night, 24/7. And they're paying off person after person, and somehow they have billions of government dollars behind them to help them. Okay, so what that means is I'm pretty much going to my demise no matter how horrific it is. And not because I've done anything wrong. That's why I put all this information on my website, so people can understand what's really going on here. It's not Kevin's a public nuisance. It's not Kevin's done anything wrong. I was a public nuisance at 5 years old, and at 5 years old, supposedly I flew airplanes into the Twin Towers. Okay? Now, those are the people that need to go into mental institutions. My mother, father, and brother. Okay. So who knows what anything's really about, but it's not about me having a good, healthy life. I can assure you of that. It's about the information I know. And the more I figure out, the more they're trying to lock me away. But most importantly, Seymour intentionally lost the trial. He intentionally lost the appeals. He never refiled the appeals. He also, I found out, I think, he could have possibly, petitioned for a motion for a retrial. He never did that either. I'm not a lawyer. This is why I pay lawyers, to protect me and defend me. And these lawyers, for some reason, link to people like Michael Bialis and Victoria Walker, Brian Longbottom, and then it goes to younger and younger ages like Brian Weaver, Greg Waugh, you name it, all the way down to 8th grade and then down to 5th grade, and my family flipping out because I kissed a black girl when I was like 8 years old at Sunny Skies Day Camp for T1, and telling the world I'm a white supremacist. Okay? So what is it really about? With that, just knowing that, what is it really about? Is this 5-year-old or 8-year-old a public nuisance? Is he ruining the world for everyone and need to be locked away? Okay? So the latest are little people with little Victoria Walker hinting messages to try to make me think that I did something to Victoria Walker. But remember, every person in my life, I've been the nicest person and gone out of my way for, and each one makes these claims how I like raped them and pillaged them and whatever. So it doesn't make any sense. Okay, they're all paid off. Hunt down Kevin Perlman and kill him or eradicate him. Now Greg Waugh is mad at me. I had this conversation. This is online with Brittany. Greg Waugh is mad at me because what was it? Because my brother, he came over. Supposedly, Jen Yang, my brother's girlfriend, broke up with my brother and started dating Greg. Greg comes over. My brother goes after Greg with a crowbar. I jump in front of the crowbar. I try to stop it. If my brother was really serious about hurting Greg Waugh, then I pretty much saved his life or stopped him from severe injury. But now I find out that Greg Waugh was actually working with my brother in hopes that they could get me to help my brother go after Greg. Try to make me look crazy. Because Greg is now recorded showing his anger towards me for talking about this. Okay, do you understand? That doesn't make sense. So common sense tells you that they're trying to make me look crazy by my brother going after Greg Waugh with a crowbar, me stopping my brother, then him giving me the blood is thicker than water mobster speech, then me saying I'm not going to fucking help you spy on Greg or bash his skull with crowbars. You think, then he gets in the speech how he and his friends are going to put me in a mental institution. Now, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, Greg Waugh, I get Greg Waugh on the horn. Greg Waugh's mad at me and playing the same psychological, we're going to make you look crazy tactics, showing that what is it they really wanted? They wanted me to help my brother go after Greg Waugh in my brother's endless frame jobs and friends' endless frame jobs, try to make me look crazy and like a violent paranoid schizo. And the only reason Greg Waugh would be mad at me, or there is no reason, but the reason he is mad at me is because he knows that I'm figuring things out, and he knows that he was actually working with my brother to try to frame me or set me up to make it look like I'm a violent paranoid schizo that goes after people and bashes their skulls in with crowbars. Hold on, I just saw a cop do a U-turn behind me, but he's not following me. Okay. So the point I'm making is that high school with my brother trying to get me to go after him, when I'm sitting there like building car engines for the guy and putting him in his car and helping him, right? Okay? Do you see something wrong with this picture? And they're all going to rid me of the world and lock me away in jail cells or mental institutions. Okay. So, what the fuck does this even have to do with the Jewish community? I have no fucking clue. Because Arnold sits there, my stepfather, babbling weird shit about the Jewish community over and over and over with this fucking Jewish community obsession, and he's a Nazi. And that's the scariest part about it, is he's a fucking complete Nazi who has paid off the Jewish community. And there's somehow a worldwide campaign to eradicate me and try to lock me away in jail cells or mental institutions. And they keep reversing it. Like, Kevin, you don't want to go to jail, do you? Well, no, I don't want to go to jail. Kevin, do you want? Kevin, do you want to go to trial? Wait, how do they word it? They worded like when it comes to a plea bargain about going to court and trials, like I wanted this, like it's me, like I'm going out, I'm trying to get this, make this happen, right? And they keep wording things this way, right? I don't want to go to trial, I don't want to go to jail, I don't want to go to mental institutions, I don't want worldwide groups trying to torture and kill me. I don't want any of it. But because they won't be honest, and they have an agenda to eradicate me and try to make me look crazy at the same time, just like right now I'm in Agura, and I've already seen about 1,000, literally 1,000 cars, pairs, twos, backwards, this and that. Okay, well what does Agura have to do with Woodland Hills? And what does Woodland Hills have to do with Southern Oregon State College? And what does Southern Oregon State College have to do with Colorado? Right? All these things have been done to me in every place and state since 5 years old. Okay, but what does one thing have to do with another? Doesn't make any sense. But they are government kill and eradication operations. Okay, so, like I was saying, Seymour, just like all of them, dumped the case. He dumped it. By the way, what would the Bar Association say about a lawyer that takes all your money, throws you in jail, endangers your life, violates the entire code of the Bar Association, right? Everything the Bar Association stands for. So we're talking theft, fraud, endangering lives, destroying people's names, reputations, credibility with false convictions, and what do you think the Bar Association and the police would do to someone, a fraud like that? 30, 50 years in jail. I can't tell you, right? Because that defeats the entire purpose of the judicial system. It's no longer about safety and keeping people safe and keeping the innocent out of jail. It's about hunting down and killing people that someone doesn't like. And the lawyer just takes money and he kills them. Hunts them down, kills them or locks them away. What's the difference? Okay. So, you get the idea, right? Think of that crime alone from Seymour, Amster. Okay? That's definitely up there with murder. It's not physically killing someone, but it's ridding someone of the world because he doesn't like someone or he's taking money to do it. Like a paid-off hitman, right? Okay. So now, in the end, I'm probably just whatever, I'll just end up in jail or whatever, my demise. I can't tell you, because none of it makes sense. But what I can tell you is I'm literally being hunted by a planet of people. That's all I can tell you. It's not about anything. There's no reason. We're going to force you into mental institutions. You're going to date who we tell you. If you don't listen to what we tell you, you're a dead man and we're going to rid you of the world. Okay. So, on that note, so now I'm obviously looking for new attorneys. Even though I've already got the conviction, I need to find someone that's going to have my best interests and support me and do whatever they can to, whether you want to say keep me out of jail or get the truth out there, whatever, which really how do you do after the conviction, You can in the public arena. That's for sure. You can get the truth to the public arena. But, and that needs to happen as well. But in the court systems that Mike Huntley were using the system against you, I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. I don't know what the fuck he's even babbling about. It doesn't even make any sense. He's just sent after me since a young child to have me killed for things, or eradicated for things my family doesn't approve of that are perfectly legal, right? So here we are. We have a worldwide campaign to eradicate, kill, lock me away for reasons I can't comprehend. No one will help me for reasons I can't comprehend. I have an angry family running around since 5 years old. Oh, my son's violent, paranoid schizo, we gotta fucking hunt him down and kill him or eradicate him for reasons I can't comprehend. Whatever they do to me will be because they hated my guts. And that's the real answer. It's not about Kevin's a bad person, or Kevin did this, or Kevin did that. It's a family that hates their child's guts. Okay, so, but that's all out of my control, because if nobody thinks, if I'm one man, isolated by 4 to 7 billion people trying to kill me, since 5 years old, I'm now 47, whatever's going to happen to me is going to happen to me, in jail, or them putting me in jail, or whatever, because that's what they want, and they have the resources to do it. And to try to check me into a mental institution or whatever is just going to be a lot worse for me, I'm pretty sure. Somewhere where they can put their bullshit clinical labels on me, their hate labels, but they're going to say, Kevin's a violent, paranoid schizo, and we want these labels, right? Okay, so they want these labels for my demise to be a lot worse. But what is it really about? I mean, they're mad. Okay, let's think of some of the childhood things. My family told my brother to tell Jason Gordon when I was in 8th grade, and Robbie left. We went down to the mall, and I mouthed off to Jason Gordon, and he punched me in the stomach. So now my family's trying to turn it around by saying that I somehow did something to Jason Gordon. Okay, that's in 8th grade. That's when I was in 8th grade. Jason Gordon was in 9th or 10th grade, or 11th grade, actually. In the same class as my brother. Okay, all these things are coming from my brother with my family as well. So Jason Gordon, I'm guessing the rest of my life my family's running around saying I did something to Jason Gordon. That's what I'm guessing. I did mouth off to him, but that doesn't warrant him punching me in the stomach. And you know how many times per day I'm verbally harassed and I'm not punching people and never have? Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, so I don't know what this is about. It's very strange. My father's babbling, I know what I did. My mother's babbling, my past caught up with me. But they'll never be specific, and you're talking about psychotic murderers. So for all I know, I ate the steaks out of my father's freezer when I was 16, and that's a crime, and he's going to hunt me down and kill me because he's a psychotic murderer, right? Okay. So you get the idea. Nothing is about anything, just extermination. Kevin's kind can't exist because they've been running around saying my kind and things like that. Okay, so that's pretty much where we're at. Nobody will help me. Nobody will be honest. Every person on the man has been sent after me to have me killed or eradicated since 5 years old. It's not about anything. It's a family that hates their child. And everyone worldwide is helping. Okay. So, where are we? Oh, I always make this turn. I do this every time. I hang a left here. I go on the freeway here, and you can't, and you go on the right and do a little loop around, so then you gotta hang a U-turn. I always freaking do this. I always forget. Okay, so, and my family would say that's mental illness and then OCD and this and that. Okay, so, Where are we? We're talking about Seymour, and we're talking about how he illegally lost the case and the appeals, lied to me he was going to refile the appeals, never did I'm not a lawyer, like a file for a retrial, which is probably up to a judge or something anyways. You name it. And also during all these things, they sort of tried to send me hidden messages with the names of the judges and try to make me look like a paranoid schizo and things like that. So I think this judge is like bottom need to or something, and I think they're hinting about like kneecapping people. And ironically, there's a whole bunch of psychological paranoid schizo tactics with the names need to, with Mike Huntley when I was 16 introducing me to Melody the stripper who wanted me to bounce at 2 bachelor parties, cheeseball bachelor parties with my family, thinking that's some kind of crime. Me sliding on a motorcycle and just fucking up my knee a little, scraping my knee. And I think they're also sort of trying to do hinting messages about the movie with, Jesus Christ. What's the actor from the movie Ghost? And he's also in a Bodyguard movie. Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse, I think. And that probably has to do with them sending Rhodey Morales after me as well with these cryptic paranoid schizo tactics, right? Roadhouse. And they're going to kneecap me, right? Okay, so with need to, bottom, need to, at least scare tactics anyways, or they might do it, I can't tell you. But if they do it, what the fuck is it about? It doesn't make any sense, because I bounced for a stripper at some cheeseball bachelor parties, and my family thinks that if you hover, like you stand around with a stripper for an hour while she takes off her clothes in someone's house, then you're the bad seed and need to die. That doesn't make sense, right? Okay, that was a whole Melody the stripper thing in high school. That my family wants me dead over, which they should have no knowledge of. Okay, so, let's see, where are we here? I'm losing my train of thought here, so I'm gonna pause this for a few. Okay, so let's talk about, okay, so obviously I don't want sewage who's trying to hunt me down and have me killed and eradicated like Seymour around me after finding this out, reading the appeals documents, which my family says they're great, right? They look really good. Wait, they're like, any retard can say this guy's trying to fucking rid you of the world, no matter what it takes. Like I said, your defense attorney doesn't say my client needs therapy. Okay, so, that's just one of the lines. So now, at this point, I'm going to find new attorneys. And the more I talk to, the more I realize are linked with my stepfather, Arnold Silver, and my family. So, if you're, I mean, common sense will tell you what I'm going to tell you. While I'm trying to get people to help me for my survival, my family's out contacting each and every one. But remember, not only that, but they have worldwide internet-based murder kill networks built around me in 1994. When the internet came around, and my brother wanted me to see the internet so bad. Remember, the internet was originally a government system, and then it went to colleges and then the private sector. So my brother was hunting me down, contacting me at University of Colorado. Yes, I know he originally went there, but that doesn't mean I'm doing something to him after he graduates and moves away and I transfer over there. One thing has nothing to do with anything else. And any sane, rational person will tell you that. So, these are government, 1994 government kill tools, with the internet used against me to notify worldwide groups to torture and kill me or try to eradicate me. Okay? Think about that. Okay, that's very important. So now, and these all connect. So now I'm going and I'm calling attorneys and I'm going to see them in person. I actually was walking from office to office down in Van Nuys. Office to office in Van Nuys. And the more I saw, the angrier they would get. Or if I go into courthouse to get docket paperwork, they're playing these games. You can't bring in cameras here, even though I've always been allowed to bring in a camera. And he says it states it right there, so I read it. It doesn't say it. And they get angry. Of course, all these secretaries at the law offices, they're getting angry, mimicking, no worries, no worries, no worries, because they're mad that I said no worries to someone. And saying no worries, according to my family, saying hey is a crime, saying no worries is a crime, saying hi is a crime, saying how's it going is a crime, saying thank you is a crime, have a good one is a crime. I mean, wait, did I totally miss something? And so their punishment is to have stranger after stranger in repetition mimic my conversations or fragments of my conversations over and over to me until the end of time, until they can try to get reactions to make me look like I'm a violent, paranoid schizo, the same agenda they've had since 5 years old. So now, once again, we're coming to the end here, where they finally, after 47 years, they got these convictions. They're trying to force me into mental institutions. Do you see this connection of events? Okay? Now, all the lawyers are playing this game. Well, you know, none of that matters. The only thing that matters is you can stay out of jail. Well, at what cost? I stay out of jail and they put me in a mental institution for the rest of my life, saying I'm a violent, paranoid schizo with bullshit labels? Right? I mean, jail sounds a lot safer, even though it's a brutal fucking place. I'll give you that. But it sounds much safer than the psychotic murderers who have psychology degrees like my mother, father, and brother. Okay? Those motherfuckers are the dangerous, sickest, obsessed loonies known to man. The motherfuckers with the psychology degrees. Okay? Those are the people that are dangerous. Those are the people that have been doing this to my life for 47 years and won't leave me the fuck alone and let me live my life. And no matter what you tell them, no matter how much proof you give them, they keep fucking coming after you with their obsession, right? And they turn a fart into a fucking hurricane. They're just insane. Okay, so now the more lawyers I'm going to, the more Arnold Silver, my stepfather, is getting these conversations and information, and the more it's going on the internet, and the more, as I'm walking from one facility to the next, that each and every one has information about the previous place I'm at. And this has been going on with phone calls and you name it my entire life to try to torture and kill me and make me look like a violent, paranoid schizo. Okay? Now, we're not talking one crazy piece of shit. We're talking a worldwide conspiracy. I think I'm going to run in this subway here and get food, though. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, we're now in Thousand Oaks, and we're going to head out to Oxnard. But let's quickly run into this subway, get some food, and kind of just, whatever, cruise around, let people see the signs on the website, even though the entire planet's trying to fucking lock me in a mental institution for reasons I can't comprehend. And this all starts for me at 29, right? It's, Mike Huntley's sitting there, we're gonna fucking rid you of the world, and your family's like, yeah, we're all gonna help, and you're watching worldwide groups going, you're a dead man, and you just keep asking what's going on, but they can't give you an honest answer. They don't have an honest answer of what anything's about. Nothing's about anything, right? So they have a worldwide campaign to try to thug me into a mental institution, and the threat is really, well, we're gonna put you in jail, and jail's a horrible place, so you can stay out of jail by going to a mental institution. Okay, but that's been their original agenda since 5 years old, right? Okay, so do you see the angle they're playing to have me exterminated? I'm not going to call it a game. It's not a game. These are kill or extermination operations with worldwide support against one man. And it's like, look, let me go out and live my life and have friends and relationships and make money. No, we won't. You have to go to a mental institution so that you can be healthy. Oh, did I miss something here? Okay, so anyways, I'm going to pause this to get some food. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just stopped at Subway. Got some food. Obviously, we have all these cars. You can't see them on this camera, but all these tons of cars and all these parking lots. The cryptic patterns. As I go in, the guy's kind of laughing. He's working on me with the take care tactic, which I believe was a couple of people and maybe a lawyer I talked to earlier this morning. Maybe a couple other public places. You get the idea. They're all linked events, right? Using the internet as a weapon to torture and kill me or lock me away in jail cells or mental institutions. Now, the thing I want to answer, I think I might have already said this, is the fact that each person is taking turns in their anger and rage on me, or like laughing like it's a joke or we're teasing you. But they're not teasing, because it never stops, and what they're trying to do is get an angry reaction to say Kevin's a violent paranoid schizo. So this never-ending joke, which is every person I'm in contact with worldwide, do you think it's really a joke? Right? You get the idea. Okay, so, let's see, we were talking about going to see new attorneys. Finding a new attorney because Seymour has been paid off to eradicate me and lock me away, or even worse, possibly have me killed in jail, shanked. Who knows, right? The level of resources invested, they just don't want me talking with a worldwide murder operation to have me killed. Okay, so, and they all sort of laugh like we're teasing you as a joke, but it's almost every person I'm in contact with worldwide to try to finally break me into anger and rage and go, look, he just went off on someone, he's a violent paranoid schizo. Okay, so, so going to see new attorneys, obviously Seymour is aiding and abetting murder. Let's be realistic. He's aiding and abetting a murder campaign, and, the whole thing is you don't tell anyone what we're doing in your life. We've told the world lies, and you're not allowed to tell anyone. You're not allowed to exercise your freedom of speech. I'm being hunted. These people won't leave me alone. Okay, so, and most of these people start with the psychology community and my family. Okay, so, what the hell, where was, okay, so, I'm down in Van Nuys. I'm walking from like kind of lawyer office to lawyer office because I don't have time to deal with the phone call bullshit and deal with receptionists and paralegals trying to fuck me over, going, yeah, maybe someday they'll call you, you know, they draw it out. So it takes 3 or 4 days, maybe you talk to the guy, and that could take a week or 2 weeks, right? So you can't get representation. So I decide to just walk to all the law offices down on Van Nuys Boulevard by the courthouse, and go, you know, just feel it out and see what lawyers can help me, and try to find one that's going to help me in this insane. We've contacted every person on the planet, especially lawyers, to make sure you don't get help, which is insane. Because then why would we have a judicial system if the people and the government could just hunt down and exterminate whoever they don't like, right? What's the point of the judicial system? To take money off good people while throwing them in jail? So, and it's just the next ring of kill people and steal their money at the same time, right? Okay, I don't think so, right? So, needs to say I walk from one, and I'll get an answer, and then as I go to the next one to hear someone else's sales pitch, they'll have the conversations from the one prior, and this is just like all the phone calls I do. No matter, it doesn't matter if I'm looking for a plumber, if I'm looking for someone to fix a window, if I'm looking for a lawyer. It's done to me over and over, from person to person, place to place, until I'm dead or gone. And just like you're seeing at each public place, like the man tactic, for example. Every person I go into a place, hey man, how are you? Have a good day, man. And it'll go in sequence, in repetition, from place to place to place to place, all across the entire planet. Even if I hop in my car and drive across states, it just keeps happening all day and night, 24/7. Haha, we're just joking, blah blah. Well, eventually you're gonna say whatever. It's not funny enough. Correct? Okay. And they're gonna say, well, I was joking with the guy and he punched me in the face. He's violent paranoid schizo. Okay. Well, that's what they're trying to do, and they've been working on that angle since 5 years old. That's 42 years. 5 years old, non-stop. The tactics kind of changed. They weren't like that in the beginning. The beginning, they were more subtle. Hey, Mr. Quigley, my 10th grade English and PE teacher, tell Kevin to punch Paul Schaefer. And Mr. Quigley tells me to punch Paul Schaefer, and I say no. But why do you think? There's no such thing. Teachers in high school don't tell students to punch other kids for any reason. So why do you think, especially after what I've witnessed and on video, almost every person trying to get me to hit people, while the judicial system says Kevin's violent, paranoid, schizo, and everyone in the room that's attacking me says I didn't do anything. The guy's crazy. Every single fucking person in a mass conspiracy. It's pretty weird shit. Okay, so you get the idea. And you get the idea, and so I can't tell you what's going on, but they're not going to get me into a mental institution, which means that they're going to put me in jail. And then it's going to come down to the final question: why am I in jail? What did I do? Well, I didn't date Adriana Oliveras and marry her. I didn't become an orthopedic surgeon with a secondary psychology degree like my father. That's what it's all coming down. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with anything. But Kevin's different than his psychotic murdering family. So he's being hunted and eradicated for it. That's it. There's no actual legitimate reason. Okay, so now why are all these people worldwide taking part? I don't know. I'm completely confused. I cannot tell you. I do not know. And that's it. That's all I know. So, if my fate's sealed for being a really good fucking person, I guess my fate's fucking sealed, but it doesn't tell me anything other than lead officer Sean Dennys arrested me because my mother asked me if I was talking to her on the phone while driving, and then he came after me and arrested me for it because I got mad and she was ball busting me about stupid shit that just doesn't matter, right? I mean, nobody sits there, no mother or person sits there and says, are you on the phone talking to me while driving? And then you say, you know what, I don't need this shit from you. And then the next day the cops are over, arresting you and saying you punched people and things like that. Right? Think about that. These are the real things we're talking about. None of the bullshit the world's been told is true. The real thing is that what my family is capable of doing when they don't get their way on stupid shit that doesn't matter. Okay? Kevin, it's past curfew. And you disobeyed me and you stayed out past curfew, so now I'm going to hunt you down and kill you and lock you away in mental institutions. Okay? These are the real things we're talking about. So, but now how come these people are all helping them? That's the freaky thing that doesn't make any sense. Right? So is it really bad I said fuck you to my mother and who cares what people think and disobeyed her? Because why would... I'm 47 years old. That happened at 14. Why would these people care? Doesn't make any sense. So it just, whatever. It's just one clusterfuck. And yes, that is a movie quote. How dare I? Now I'm crazy. Situation, or what was it? It's just a clusterfuck of insanity. Nothing makes any sense. That's not about anything. Just, I'm gonna label it as a hate. I have a family. They hate my guts. They want to exterminate me. That's kind of, I think, more relevant and prudent to the situation. How they managed to invest billions of government dollars with the psychology community and launch a worldwide campaign to kill me over it or eradicate me because I violated a curfew or something. That's insane. I mean, how would you even know which thing you did? Did you fart, blink, burp? Right? Was it because I left the dinner table, or I chewed with my mouth full at the dinner table, or was it because I ate the steaks out of my father's freezer, which you would assume all the food in your family's house is pretty much meant for you as well, right? So it just doesn't make sense. But the one common denominator is that we're going to hunt down and eradicate our son over hate and rage and jealousy and all things like that, right? And that's it. So it's not really about anything but hate. We hate it. We had a child. We hate his guts. Let's eradicate him. Let's exterminate him. And we can do that by making him look crazy and locking him away in mental institutions. Okay, so that's all I know. And that's why I record and document. Like, this guy's like laughing at me. He's walking across. He's laughing like it's funny. But it's like, it's not funny. I have to sit here. I have to drive around. I have to advertise saying these people won't stop. I have to call lawyer after lawyer. My family's trying to lock me in a mental institution and make me look crazy. I have to document all the people sent after me since 5 years old to do these horrible, unspeakable things to me that I had no clue that they were even really going on. You name it. And it's not about anything. It's just weird. I turned 29. You're a dead man with worldwide support. Okay. So, now remember, when you see these people laugh, it's sort of to try to stop you through humiliation, okay? There's a Jamba Juice here. I'm going to go in and get a Jamba, and obviously I'm going to record him probably doing the man tactic. Now there's this whole thing like with the psychology community, like you fucked with us. But that doesn't make sense either. Because what they're really saying is, when I was 10 years old, Mommy unethically asked me to draw her a tree, and I was joking around with her, and she didn't get the tree she wanted, so I fucked with her. So she spent the last 40 years hunting me down to have me exterminated with worldwide support, because I fucked with Mommy. She didn't get the tree she wanted, right? Okay, so think about that. Now, these people are kind of playing this game like we're fucking with you with worldwide murder operations, but worldwide murder operations, even if people laugh and smile, are just that, murder operations. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly run in here, get a Jamba, and he'll probably say man or take care. We'll get that on video, and they'll have some cover-up excuse how I'm crazy. Okay, so I just got the Jamba, and now I'm on the 101 out to Oxnard. Now this is interesting, because the people at Jamba are actually really nice. It seems like all the places I've gone in with Brittany, people have been a lot nicer, but you know, I can't go into every place in the world with Brittany, so that still doesn't solve any problem. But anyways, plus she's just my therapist, so, you know, we're not dating. Okay, obviously. tries to use that one. Okay, so, but that doesn't solve the problem, even if that was someone I was dating. It doesn't solve the problem. Okay, so, where the fuck was it? Okay, so, when I went into the Jamba, obviously half the lot, tons of things going on in the parking lot out there in Thousand Oaks. One of the things I picked up on was tons of Jeep Rangers parked backwards. And so there's one guy, there's one guy waiting in a green one, same color as Tom Farley's old Jeep Cherokee or Jeep Ranger when I was in high school. And sorry, I'm a little tired. And I said, you want a card? Because I knew he was waiting for me with the groupings of Jeeps backwards and things like that. So I played that little game. I said, you want a card? And he said, no, I don't want a card. Playing the game like, I said, what is it? And I explained it. And he says, no, I don't want it. Now, first, why do you think he said that? Well, he said it because he wants to try to work with the police to make it look like I'm forcing cards on people. So, I respect his boundaries like I do with people, even though the government wants to make up every lie because they don't want the truth coming out. And whatever, he goes into this long conversation how he tries to use like analogies. Well, my son or my friend's son, yeah, right, got addicted to drugs, and so he got paranoid, and he thinks this and he thinks that. So I explained all the situations where teachers told to tell me to punch kids. Did I know about that they couldn't get me to do the lies on a violent paranoid schizo? The fact that the LAPD tried to send Rody Morales after me with Mike Huntley to try to plant a trash bag full of marijuana in my house. So anyways, it went exactly like I thought it would be, and he plays this game. Why would the government spend all this money on one person? Well, these aren't questions I can answer. All I can answer or talk about is what is going on, and I can't speak about the whys of some psychotic murderer with an endless, unlimited wallet. Okay? I'm not even going to waste the time to talk about why this is happening, or I should say, the why from the standpoint of the decision maker, to analyze whether he would or would not spend billions of government dollars on me. That's not my place. I'll never get that answer without a verbal confirmation that is truthful. But what I can answer is questions based on these daily attacks, and sort of put together how it's being done and how much the resources and how much money it would take, and say these are government operations. Now, anyways, once the conversation was coming down to and he's sort of trying to like belittle me a little, but this guy not in a super mean way, just in a very friendly, like you're crazy and you're a drug addict type of message to me, which doesn't make any sense, because the cops have been working every drug addict angle with Tom Farley just out of thin air. And everything on my videos are accurate, so you can't say I'm lying in my videos. Well, watch what people are attacking me on the videos. Okay, so anyways, I asked him, so why do these people right here all park their Jeep Cherokees backwards? Or Jeep Rangers backwards? And he started to cover his ass. So, I just park this way because it's faster to get out, even though there's no cars around him. And, okay, whatever, I leave. And as I'm leaving, he says, well, good luck. And what they do is, they have people hinting about the courtroom and the judges who at least when I'm in there, say good luck over and over and over. Sort of like hint to like I'm working with the judge or court people or whatever, right? It's just a paranoia tactic. But you can see the connected events of I don't know you and what's this about. I want to make it look like they're forcing cards on me. All the cover-up operations. Now, that parking lot, like every other one, I would say a good 15-20% cars backwards and pairs of twos and mental illness tactics and things like that. Okay? So, remember, this is worldwide. So, almost every person I talk to is going to know me. And they're going to say, I don't know you. And then, just like every lawyer, like Seymour Amster, I'm intentionally going to lose the case. I'm intentionally going to lose the appeals. I refuse to refile the appeals because I know you're now going to read the argument. Going from lawyer to lawyer to lawyer to lawyer. Starting from a psychotic family. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so there you go. When I come with the next... I'm a little tired because I've been talking so much. But I think that these dialogues are important right now in case they throw me in jail. I sort of want everyone to know that Seymour Amster did intentionally, fraudulently, criminally steal my money, steal my family's money, go against the Bar Association, intentionally lose the case, you name it. Probably an extremely high crime. A defense attorney intentionally losing and throwing people in jail is probably punishable by extremely long jail sentence. So I just kind of want to get this onto the website in case anything happens to me. Now remember that all these events, all these conversations, all the paperwork, everything on every level has been documented on hard drives for the world to see, including police stations across, something like 15 police stations all across Southern California, who knew me, stating that it's okay to get mass groups together to hunt down, torture, and kill people if you don't touch them, and things like that. Okay, so when some new thoughts come, I'll fire up the camera. Okay. We're still out in Ventura. We're gonna kind of head towards Oxnard. I don't know where I'm going. Just gonna start heading back. Now I just did this in a different camera, and there's some footage on it. So I kind of pulled aside. I was kind of tired. I took a 20-minute nap. I then decided to stop. I wanted to go to a coffee shop and finish annotating some of the appeals documentation, showing what's completely full of shit, inaccurate, not true, the bullshit from Seymour, trying to cover up that, hey, this is all about First Amendment freedom of speech. Well, no, it's really, that is true, but it's really about self-defense, because I didn't wake up with some kind of Jerry Maguire epiphany about changing the world or anything here. I turned 29 and found out the government's hunting me to have me killed with worldwide support or lock me away in jail cells or mental institutions by trying to make me look crazy, and it starts at 5 years old, right? So there's a big difference between, hey, I have the right to express myself, which is true, that's part of it. I'm not going to say that isn't part of it. But the main meat, the meat and potatoes, the bulk. Kevin is under full-scale attack. Kevin has to defend himself. His life is destroyed. Someone defamed and smeared his name with unlimited billions of dollars of resources. There are internet-based terror and torture systems built around him. You can't really say all this shit in court, but you can say enough to state that Kevin's being attacked by angry mobs. Okay? And that's what Seymour and all the other lawyers refuse to admit or do. And that's a fucking problem, because that states that these 42-year mobs hunting me have an agenda, and if the lawyers don't want to address the worldwide mobbings, going, I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy, then the lawyers are conspiring to remove me from society. Okay, hence why Seymour intentionally lost the appeals, didn't even argue the 422 criminal threat or battery falsified charges, because what they're saying is Kevin's a violent paranoid schizo with the psychology community. Which I've been studying for 18 years, pretty much, since I found out, or started to figure things out. And where's my GPS taking me? That's a good question. So what I'm saying is that these are all strategically planned out to lock me into a mental institution, no matter what I do, no matter how good I am, no matter how perfect I am, no matter how sane I am, no matter how stable I am, no matter how perfect my belief structure about society, it does not matter. Someone wants me dead and gone and locked away in jail cells and mental institutions, and it all comes down to mommy and daddy and Jason, where it starts. And then it escalates out with their psychology degrees, going to the psychology community, government, high school systems, college systems, with a fucked up nut job loony family that can't ask questions and just hunt down and kill their child. Okay, no communication skills. Okay, so a little sidetracked. I'm also trying to figure out where I am. I look at my GPS, but I can't tell if it's routing right here. It's not routing right. And it does this a lot of times when I use the phone with the camera. Let's see if I can figure out where I am, then it's not a big deal. Okay, so, let's see, where am I going? Okay, so anyways, I will decide, go to the Dennys. I want to get some coffee, wake up, finish annotating the bunk paperwork that Seymour intentionally wrote up to lose the appeals, just like he lost the fucking case, showing that he's being paid off and working with the government to bury me. While they play this game, they we just want to put you in a mental institution until you're better, but there's nothing wrong with you in the fucking first place. So why do I have to be in a mental institution to begin with? Because what my family's saying is, you're not like us, so you're crazy, so we gotta lock you away. Well, that doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't make any sense. Why do I have to be like them? Why do I have to go out to med school, become a orthopedic surgeon with a secondary psychology degree, or they're going to lock me in a mental institution? Why can't I go do my own thing? And why are they weaseling into my private life, trying to dictate it? This is who you date, this is what you do for a living, or we on you, kill you, torture you, lock you away, and say you're crazy. And you date Adriana Olivares, we're going to have her send her after you to have you killed, and then play mind games that she's somehow associated with the Pablo Escobar family and things, trying to make me look crazy. Okay. And she as well. Oh, that's one of the left. I think I left that one out. Adriana basically showing me the movie Quills to threaten to put me in mental institutions. If you've seen the movie, it's about some guy, I think, it's been a long time, that knew something and they didn't want him talking, so they locked him in a dungeon and things like that. Okay. All these things are just repetitive. We're going to lock you away and make you look crazy, starting at a very young age. So then Arnold's saying weird things to me like, it's not what you think it is. Well, it looks pretty much fucking, after 18/42 years, like it is what it is. And they don't have the right to label me and then try to have me killed, right? They don't have that fucking right, or locked away, or whatever. And if I'm perfectly normal now, minus what I know they're doing to me, then not that matters. That's not grounds for lock people away in mental institutions. The only reason people are in mental institutions is if they're violent. Well, didn't Seymour leave out the violence things? Okay, right? Okay, so, you get the idea, and, oh, I touched air, I just committed a crime. Okay, so, see, now you really gotta be put in a mental institution. Okay, so, anyways, you get the idea. Okay, so, I go into Dennys, I start annotating, okay, I'm there for about 30 minutes, everything's normal. All the clothing's normal, everyone's polite, except maybe some of the cars in the lot, those are still backwards and twos and things like that. At the point where I order some food, and all I order is like a salad, because I'm not that hungry, and I get the paperwork done, instantly a guy comes in with a green and black flannel, the same flannel I had when I lived in Boulder, Colorado. A girl, one of the people with him comes in a horizontal striped shirt, and another girl comes in with a Good Karma shirt. Hinting about the whole Kevin and Karma, and then trying to play games. I somehow ruined Jen Hess's life by barking at her, going, you know what, you're gonna fucking die of karma, typing it in on IRC, the stupid bitch is involved in hunting me down, try to have me killed with the government, running around with a gun in her purse, and working with this toner man guy, and working all these angles, and I find out that Jen Hess is actually being paid off by my father. I mean, I don't have proof, but they're all linked to my father and Lorraine Escobar, contacting these women and sending them after me, right? And my father doesn't want me talking about this shit, because it's going to show that my father's a fucking murderer, paying off people to have me killed. Okay, so having women come in my life and try to do these horrible things to me, and they go, Kevin's crazy, look what he did, to cover up all the people he's sending after me. Okay, so Okay, so, like I said, they're trying to put me in a mental institution since 5 years old, because I parted wrong at 5 years old, and then you start figuring things out at 29, well, it really takes you to 38. Okay, so, I'm in Dennys, now I order food, now this group comes in, I kind of look up, and I'm thinking, like usual, I know the signs, I know what to look for, okay, possible stalker, right? Okay, so, I don't say anything, I don't do anything, I mind my own business like usual. Now, one of the Dennys employees does the 20-year whistling tactic, started with Mike Huntley at 29, and it happens at every restaurant in the world, every coffee shop in the world. I have it on video, especially this week alone, from coffee shop to coffee shop, restaurant to restaurant, the whistling tactic. He starts whistling, hinting that I'm a whistleblower. Okay, now the next thing you have to say to yourself is, I don't live out here in Oxnard or Ventura, whatever, all the way by the ocean. Ironically, where a guy named Dave Hare, I believe, was working on me on IRC when I got into 3D animation. I never really saw Dave do anything personally, but I think the people around Dave, Wild Hair was his nickname, at all the places, I kind of got some jobs with him and this and that, or worked at some of the same places, I think in the beginning, out in like Simi Valley or something, and all the things that were going on around me, once again, I can't recall Dave ever being a douche, but everyone else was, like people were sent after me, like Rob Roy McGregor, and things like that in the animation firms, that tried to scare me into coerced false confessions about things. And ironically, Rob Roy McGregor looks like a famous actor. I don't know his name. He was in the movie The Game. The guy talking about Tiffany Towers and towards the end, trying to get in the building and all that. Whatever. He looked like that actor, which is interesting. Okay, so where was I talking about? Okay, so at Dennys, now things start to escalate. I'm just minding my own business. The cryptic patterns, haze, and appreciate it. All the things that sound normal, but what they're doing is, let's say I go, when I worked doing the IT at my father's office, I type in, maybe I ask an IT question on a form, and I say, oh, thanks for the advice, I appreciate it. Now after that, everyone starts mimicking in repetition, appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it, appreciate it. Now they're ramping that one back up, linking to my father and his murder operations, and trying to stop me from asking questions about technology with random strangers worldwide. Right? Okay, so what are they really doing? They're just trying to create obsessional looping, make it look like I suffer from obsessional looping, and I'm a violent paranoid schizo, I suffer from anxiety, 100 different psychological warfare tactics to torture, hurt, harm, maim, torture, kill, eradicate, lock people away. Okay, why are they doing it? I didn't fucking tell you. Okay, so, and then it's like, you have a problem. Well, yeah, I do have a fucking problem. What you're doing. Okay, so, and for 42 years. Okay, so, at this point, I do what I always do. Okay, well, if I'm going to sit in a fucking room of strangers, they're going to mob me to death, and then hint that I'm the bad seed, because my mother watched the movie 1946 Bad Seed when she was little, and she can't separate reality from movies, and then she's trying to reel me in. Then she goes out and gets a fucking psychology degree in anger or something, and then she fucking tries to reel me into her world of hate or something. I can't fucking tell you. It's so weird. With worldwide support, then if you're sitting in a fucking room every day of your life, every location in the world, once again, I don't know anyone out here in Ventura by the beach, or Oxnard, right? Okay? Except my father has a house out here in Channel Islands, but that's irrelevant. I don't want to see him, and I don't go to his house. I'm just out towards Ventura by the ocean, and so now the entire room's ramping up, like appreciate it, hey, blah, 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 all the things that, especially all the stores I walked into before going to Dennys here, that are directed in anger at me to mob me to death with psychological torture tactics. So what do I do? Of course, I start passing out cards to everyone. Now, Seymour and everyone else are going to say, well, Kevin's up high like this. It's because he's passing out cards. Wait a minute. If you're sitting in a fucking room being mobbed to death, this happens every day of your life at every place in the world, and they play these games like nobody knows you, well, they're fucking trying to rid you of the fucking world. So they need the information you've been lied to. Okay, so now most people are pretty friendly, although a lot of them were doing the mimic tactics like appreciate it. Another one is perfect 100 times in a row from stranger after stranger. They were playing Boston because I was playing Boston on my YouTubes and Twitters last night. Right? All these things are mimic tactics to try to torture you into reactions. So what do? I exercise in self-defense, my freedom of speech. This is the truth. Here is newspaper clippings of Dennys and Rhodey hunting me down, linked to the LAPD. Well, how dare you? How dare you ruin everyone's lives? Wait, what about my fucking life? Okay, what about my freedom and my safety? Okay, so, which my tax dollars pay the police to protect me. Okay, so, where are we? At this point, the guy who's with the Good Karma Girl shirt in the green and black flannel, mimicking like the shirt I was wearing at University of Colorado, which he sits there and he stares at me like, and he does this for like several minutes. I think I finally winked at him because it was getting a little annoying. The point is, what they're trying to do is then take the hearsay that my family is spewing out to the world, that when Kevin was in the University of Colorado, he was staring mean looks at women and threatening them, and no, absolutely not. My family's they're doing what they've always done, take fragments of information, twist it and contort it into fiction, and give it out to the entire planet. I think I just made the wrong turn. I was trying to get on the freeway. Give it out to the entire planet and turn them against me on these government kill tools. So the point is, it's kind of like this. This is how my family and the police and government's communications work. You were in a restaurant, you farted, and then they go on their internet-built murder propaganda tools, and they say Kevin walked into a restaurant and he tried to gas everyone to death with, I don't know, what is some kind of gas that kills people with the government or army, I don't know, but you get the idea, right? So how do things go from here to there? Each and everything to the entire planet. Why are they doing it? Well, they're doing it because they're angry about something. They're angry that Kevin didn't go to law or medical school. They're angry that Kevin got into studio photography with green screen with good-looking women, and my Dr. Ronald Barry Perlman doesn't want a son that associates with good-looking women and risque photos or whatever. That's what it's really about. This has nothing to do with me doing anything to anyone. It has to do with the family that can't accept that I'm different than them, so they're going to keep blasting out lie after lie until their son is locked away in jail or a mental institution and go, Kevin's crazy and he look what he did and now he's locked away. And that's what this is really about, and that is what this has always been about. And this starts, 16 years old, rich boy starts building cars. Kevin, I don't want to associate with a son that builds cars because we're white collar, right? Okay, do you understand? So in order for the Perlman name to be we're good Jews who are mainstream white collar people, but we have a son, Kevin Perlman, and he's doing studio photography with women. He was building adult websites. He's building cars. He's playing pool. And pool is shady. Well, pool's not shady. Only in the movies is pool shady. So we're going to spew out these lies to the world. Kevin's a pedophile. Kevin is a car thief. Kevin, my dad, when I was 16, Kevin stole $10,000 from me, blah, 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 which is a lie. Right? Thing after thing after thing. Okay, so I'm seeing the backlash. Example, I'm in Dennys, random Oxnard Dennys. Little cryptic messages, you don't talk or we kill you and we're going to try to set you up and rid you of the world. And then goes the next person, the next person, the next person. Why, I can't tell you. How do you get people to all take part worldwide in this? I can't tell you. It is the strangest fucking thing. I cannot tell you. All I can tell you is my family will never fucking stop hunting me with every fucking resource on the planet. They've been working on me with the police, government, NSA, FBI since a young child. They're playing this game that you need help and you this and you that. Today we had an earlier conversation in, did I mention this when I left Thousand Oaks? We had a conversation with a guy hinting that I'm a drug addict and I'm paranoid because I'm a drug addict. That's the latest. Today's not make sense argument from some random stranger sitting backwards in a green Jeep, surrounded by 3 or 4 other Jeep Rangers backwards next to him. Right? Okay? I'm a drug abuser? I don't think so. So why are you sending Tom Farley after me to pretend to be addicted to drugs and wanting to move in my house? And before that, having LAPD trying to get bags of marijuana, trash bags of marijuana in my house before marijuana was legal. Right? Now let's break this down. Let's say I bought shitloads of legal marijuana. I'm in California. Marijuana is perfectly legalized. Let's say I bought a shitloads of marijuana and loved marijuana and smoked the shit out of it. It's perfectly legal. It's like having a fucking wine cellar. Do you see people with wine cellars being hunted by worldwide support, going paranoid and getting locked into mental institutions? Okay? That's kind of the counter argument to the guy's lie. His lie, like every other one of their lies, doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what was over the Dennys? So anyways, yeah, so I pass out cards because I like my survival. I like to breathe. I need to find a way to stop worldwide groups from trying to torture, hunt me down, and kill me, or lock me in the jail cells or mental institutions. Okay. Okay, where are we? So anyways, I pass out cards. Everything sort of starts to diffuse. The waiter, who I said not one mean thing, like usual, to him or anyone else, has a guilty look on his face, and this and that. Now he sees me writing on law paper, or he probably didn't see me. He probably didn't even know. He probably didn't even know that the paper I was writing on were appeals papers, because they do it for every single thing I do, trying to make it look like it's about this or that, like what they're doing is justified. It just changes. It could be because I put a Jolly Rancher in my mouth. It could be that simple. And they'll make up some hint that I tried to ruin someone's life by sucking on a Jolly Rancher, okay? It just changes. Okay, so after that, everything diffuses. It goes back to normal. The guy... Normally you see like 100 people come in with the clothing patterns. This time it was just one. After the guy's little Anita Perlman death stare, because that's what my mom is trying to call me being attracted to Christy Reynolds in 8th grade and kind of glancing up at her once in a while. My mother is calling a death stare. Like usual, my mother wasn't there, and my mother has this innate ability to follow me around collecting information, taking the information, turning it into complete fiction, giving out to the entire planet, literally. Okay, why would you give any of that information out to the entire planet? Unless you hated someone's guts and you wanted them fucking dead and gone. Right? Period. The end. There is no in-between on this one. There's no walking up to Kevin and saying, Kevin, I think you did this. This is what was said. She makes up a story. Complete fiction. Same with my father. Same with my brother. Same with everyone I've ever known. It instantly goes out to an entire planet to mentally batter and mob me to death. This has nothing to do with my health. It has nothing to do with my safety. It has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with affection. It has nothing to do with caring. And it has to do with I hate your fucking guts. I want you dead, and I will not stop until you're fucking dead since 5 years old, or locked in a cage, or a mental institution. That's what this is about. Okay. Now, anyone that says anything else, I just want you to have a normal life, I just want this, bullshit. If you want me to have a normal life, tell the truth. She's a fucking liar. Everyone around me are fucking liars. They're taking perfectly normal situations. There may be something a little off and using it against me and trying to collect and use each and every intricate detail to justify my demise since 5 years old instead of communicating. Communicating. I'm the only one with communication skills in my family. And that's how this starts. How does this go up to the government with billions of kill dollars? I can't fucking tell you. Except they all have psychology degrees, and my mother was an art therapist who worked at places like Cedars-Sinai and had a tantrum when she didn't get the little tree she wanted me to draw that she liked. Okay. That's kind of what this is really about. A mother's hate for her child, but an entire family's hate, kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family. Okay. So, let's see, to finish up the Dennys thing, which is the same scenario in every place, it kind of looked, as I was leaving, looked like as I was leaving, like the good karma blonde was like kind of like waiting for me outside by the door, like when I was leaving, as if I'm going to rescue this person or something so she can start in on me with the next set of tactics. Who knows? I don't know. I don't give a shit. All I know is if you can't walk up to me and say, you're Kevin Perlman, this is fucking unacceptable, or this is what was said about you, or I didn't like that tweet, it was really annoying to me, or that was a fucking funny tweet, or I'll follow your social networks instead of playing their paranoid, radio chaos, paranoid Jason Perlman, skull fucking kill Kevin Perlman, then I have a problem with those people if they can't be fucking honest. I'm not going to let people in my life that want to try to make me paranoid or look paranoid. But, once again, Seymour's Amster statement in his anger and rage towards me is, Kevin, just ignore it. How do I ignore angry mobs in every place in the world, by every person in the world, working on me with paranoid schizophrenia operations, and I think passing out cards saying you've been lied to, or putting signs on the side of my car, is pretty damn fucking nice and friendly and passive, and they're mad about that. And they will make up any lie possible. And the people making up the lies are people like Seymour Amster. They're taking all my money and fabricating bullshit appellate arguments and refusing to bring in the evidence of me being mobbed that's all on video in the courtrooms, playing mind games, or making up lies that it's inadmissible as evidence. Even things like Dennys writing a ticket for 1.5 inches in the red 2 weeks before I take the stand is all inadmissible. He's telling me is inadmissible as evidence. Bullshit. If the cop that's going up on the stand, or I'm going up on the stand and the cop's following me home, and I have proof of that, that should go straight to the jury in 100 different ways, and it's completely admissible. Okay, showing that Seymour is being paid off to exterminate me. And most of the other ones are as well. Okay, where are we? My mother's opinion about me, about my psychological stability, about my memory, about whatever. About if I'm an angry, bitter, full of rage person. My mother, and if you're listening, Mommy, I'm sorry, but this is the case. You don't know your ass from a fucking rhino, okay? You don't know jack fucking shit. You have no place in the psychology community. You have no place in therapy. You know too much to be dangerous. You suffer, or she suffers, from severe obsession and violating people's privacy and prying in their life and ruining their lives based on her issues, based on what she wants, and then trying to tell people who they have to be, who they have to like, and then she throws crazy labels or this or that on people because they're different than her. And she is beyond any level of obsessed and neurotic. I am nothing like this person. Yeah, sure, I grew up a little shy and quiet, but that's it. You can't apply this to that. I'm not Anita, I'm Kevin. I'm not Ron, I'm Kevin. I'm not Jason, I'm Kevin. Okay. So, and Kevin's a really good fucking solid, stable, stand-up fucking guy. And all the shit they're saying and blasting to the world is out of hate and rage, jealousy, or control. I don't want you associating with this type of person. I don't want you to date girls with tattoos. Or we're going to tell the world that you hate women with tattoos and you tried to kill 10 of them. Well, if I want to date a girl with big tits, tattoos, small tits, a lawyer, a psychologist, a girl who's a mechanic, a girl who's a porn star, a girl who goes to church every day, that's my fucking prerogative. That has nothing to do with them. And if they're following me all across the entire fucking planet, saying you do what we say or we're going to kill you, lock you in mental institutions, or jail for the rest of your life, or any period of time, and destroy your name, that's hate and rage and jealousy towards me and endangering my life. Okay? I am not asking my family to follow me around with government-built murder systems, collecting my phone calls, or trying to call me up with Rody Morales, asking, interrogating questions to try to get things to the world to use against me, to rile the masses against me, to have me killed for going out and trying to live my life and being a really good person. That's the bottom fucking line. And that is, and what they've been doing my entire life, fucking up every aspect of it to the entire planet, and then turning it around that Kevin's crazy and Kevin's a violent paranoid schizo. And each thing is always the same. You get into studio photography. I don't want you taking pictures of women. You go to the beach and you take pictures of sunsets and some landscapes. I don't want you taking pictures of landscapes. Because you think differently, and it's through the eyes of the lens, and weird shit like this, it doesn't make any sense. Then they send people like Brian Longbotham at you. Take a picture of this actor. Kevin's a paparazzi. Kevin needs to be killed by Universal Studios. Then you get a hobby, playing pool. Kevin's crazy. Kevin thinks he's a pool hustler. Kevin thinks this, Kevin thinks that, and pool halls are shady places. Pay off waitresses to hunt Kevin down and kill him at pool halls. Then you get into building cars at 16. Dr. Ronald Barry Berlin. Kevin's a thief and he stole $10,000 from me. We got to stop him from building cars. It just goes from thing to thing to thing to thing. Now here's the aftermath. At 29, finding that Mike Huntley was sent after me from 14 to 29 to have me killed by my own father. I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. Your past, you know what you... Oh, wait. I've given you enough rope to hang yourself with. We're using the system against you. He's sinking world of paranoia. He's dropping papers on my desk about making people mentally ill to control them, which is really murder. There's no such thing. He's working with all these people from my high school, like Greg Wan, Damon Riggins, to try to silence me on things that nobody could give a flying fuck about. He's working with my brother to cover up all the shit. My brother running all the cars off the road, or all this road rage shit to try to get people to chase him. Then my brother's pinning all this shit on me with Mike Huntley. And my family's not concerned that my brother is literally hunting me with worldwide support, every resource on the planet, billions of government dollars. My mother plays this game. I'm neutral. What do you mean? There's a worldwide campaign to kill me since 5 years old and you're neutral? No, that's not neutral. That's, I hate my fucking son's guts. Just die. You get the idea. It just jumps from one thing to the next since 5 years old. Billions of government dollars. Almost every person on the planet. I just want you to have a normal, healthy life. But you also have to be a devout Jew, date who I tell you to be with, and go to sleep when I tell you to go to sleep. You're not allowed to take walks. You're not allowed to sit on a bench longer than 10 minutes. You're not allowed to go to coffee shops. You're not allowed to play pool. You're not allowed to go to the beach. You're not allowed to make money in photography or have photography hobbies. But I love you. And I just want the best for you. And I want you to have a normal life. What do you mean? A normal life like the movie Carrie, where they lock the girl in the closet and say don't come out, and then she finally comes out and they pour paint on her head? Okay, right? I'm going to leave out the superpower part, but you get the fucking idea, right? Nothing that's being done is because my family cares. It's just like psychotic behaviors, paranoid psychotic behaviors with lack of self-control on their part. Hence why my brothers told to make little movies when I was a kid with Darren Roselle called Psychos and put a knife up to my throat, and now I have to sit there and watch worldwide groups pretend they're psychos, trying to make it look like I conform to media and shit like that. Okay, now all these things are kind of linking back to Seymour Amster paid off to intentionally lose the case, which would have been with any attorney, because I talked to thousands, and on my website, all the attorneys refusing to be honest and help. Okay? All told to do the same exact thing. Okay, so what is it they want? Me to have a good life? No. Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, I don't know, I just lost my train of thought. I'm getting tired here, but I think I'm just going to sum this up. Tonight, went to a Rite Aid to buy some pens. One of the girls was working on me with a hay tactic. I went after that to Dennys. I explained that situation. And the police and Seymour and everyone else are going to make up lies. They're trying to force cards on people and this and that. And this is some Jerry Maguire freedom of speech epiphany. It's not. This is all in self-defense. The worldwide murder operation, and they're also trying to make me look crazy by talking about it, right? Because the entire thing sounds fucking crazy, yet it's going on, and we all know it's going on. And we have jury tamper juries, paid off juries, we have paid off judges, we have paid off police, my family paying off the police like Dennys putting things on his website. How do we force people into mental institutions? Well, people don't force people into mental institutions. Mental institutions don't even work like that. The only reason people go into mental institutions are for temporary violence holds. Hence why they're trying to get me to manipulate me to check into a mental institution myself. So that's probably why I'll end up going to jail, because nobody spends 42 years trying to lock their son in a fucking mental institution unless they hate their fucking guts. We're supposed to have protections based on the Constitution and freedoms. And I was robbed of those freedoms at 5 years old. And I've still been robbed of those freedoms. Every constitutional protection has been violated. Nobody thinks that's wrong. They're being fed bullshit. They're actually acting on it. And it's like, go out and kill Kevin. Okay. Go out and kill that guy. He's a bad guy. Okay. That's what's happening. Worldwide. It's crazy. Okay. So you get the idea. They will do anything to eradicate me. And the more I find out no, and the more I talk about my childhood, they flip their lid and go ballistic. Okay. You get the idea. This has been their agenda since 5 years old. I'm 47. It's getting to that pivot point. Arnold's sort of playing this game like the judge is the same as God judging you. The judge isn't God. The judge is looking at paperwork, which is fabricated paperwork, and going, how am I going to sentence this guy? It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with Judaism, even though Arnold, my stepfather, keeps playing this game. You need a Jewish lawyer. You need a Jewish lawyer. You need to go pray. You need a Jewish lawyer. And my father was playing the same bullshit angle. What the fuck does that have to do with the tea in China? Right? Okay. So, and they're not going to tell this to any other person because they're doing it to me to try to make me look crazy. This has nothing to do with Judaism, and just like I said in the beginning, if you ask Arnold Silver or Anita Perlman or Ron Perlman or Jason Perlman, who are not devout Jews, who were just born Jewish, if they can quote lines from the Torah or tell you about everything written in the Torah, I guarantee you they can't tell you jack shit but a few things they know from temple when they were a kid. Okay? Bottom line. So Arnold Silver, with my mother, pay off the Jewish community and donate so he can look important and engage in the Jewish activities, so he can look important like a good, important Jewish person. But when it comes down to his actions with the rest of my family, they're Nazis and murderers. The things you're seeing done to me are Nazi behaviors. Example, I'm going to drag you away from your home and put you in a mental institution because I don't like you. Isn't that the same as dragging a Jew from their home and putting them in a concentration camp and killing them? Isn't that the same thing? My mother's throwing psychological bullshit on me. They want to drag me away from my home, and they want to put me in some kind of institution or cage. Right? It's not the same thing, but it's the same thought process. You're different. I'm going to drag you here and I'm going to put you here or there. Just like they did to the Jews in Germany in World War II. Need I say more? This has nothing to do with Kevin Perlman and his last name, Perlman and Pearl Harbor and all the weird freaky angles they're working on to make me look crazy. It's just a psychotic family with no morals or ethics and the power to somehow get billions of government dollars to launch a worldwide campaign against their son with the "He's Different" label. I'm not crazy, not that it matters. I haven't done anything wrong. What's the problem? The problem is that they don't like me. And there's a word for that. Hate. And hate crimes. We don't like this person. We don't like our son because he's different. Therefore, we're going to drag him away from his home and lock him in a cage. That's kind of what this is really about. If you want to break it down to the basics. And Seymour Amster, which really does look like the Aryan Brotherhood with his white hair, is helping them and the judicial system accomplish this with the psychology community and their labels, which makes the psychology community very dangerous people, because even if someone's crazy, even if someone thinks they're a psychic or thinks they saw aliens, remember, these are some of Tom Farley's early childhood lies about me. They still have constitutional rights and protections and freedoms. Okay? People don't follow them from place to place trying to torture them into mental institutions, showing that there are things going on with the psychology community to eradicate imperfection and people that they label as different or label might be crazy or mentally ill. But once again, people aren't taken away from their homes for being different, crazy, or mentally ill for any reason. The only reason that people go into mental institutions are for two reasons. One, they check themselves in saying, I feel depressed or something and I want to go to a mental institution. Two, a temporary violence hold. That is it. Or if they're so bad that they can't take care of themselves, like I can't put the food in my mouth, right? Something like that. That's it. That is it. So obviously I'm out here. I'm driving around. I was in Hollywood last night. I was Pasadena, Hollywood, Hermosa Beach, Oxnard, Ventura tonight. I'm driving perfectly, even though Dennys paid off to make up his lies with the police and government that I have driving problems. I'm annotating appeals documentation and reading it and showing in the documentation that my family's full of shit. Am I the type of person that needs to be locked in a mental institution? Of course not. So now my family's trying to... Obviously, the reason Seymour is leaving out appeals for the 422 criminal threat and the battery fabrication or the things that were done to me that Dennys is reversing, like usual, and me calling the cops. Well, not for I didn't call the cops for Scroggins. I just walked away from Scroggins, showing that Scroggins was pursuing me, and Scroggins kept coming back, stalking me. But I did call the cops on Bailey Bernardo for assault and battery to me, even though Karen Phillips lies in her thing. Okay, so where am I? You can see from my actions and my behaviors that I'm perfectly normal and that my family's completely fucking full of shit. Now, they're giving me kind of like options, like we're trying to force you and get you to self-check into mental institutions. They're also working their weird 23 angles with cryptic messages. And remember, these cryptic guilts changes from 1,000 different things. So, if there is a sentence, aside from Kevin, you're allowed to continue to go get therapy, and you've already really completed everything, and we'll leave you the fuck alone. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but what I will say is, if they do sentence me to jail time, I'm probably going to jail, and it's going to suck, but that's, and my mom's in tears about that, because her hopes and her dreams are to lock her son in a mental institution. What a great mother, right? Her hopes and her dreams are to have a child she can rip away from his home with her lies and lock in a mental institution concentration camp out of her anger and rage towards me because I'm not like her and she's a complete obsessed neurotic nut job who is afraid to go on social networks, who is afraid to buy a nice car for herself, whatever. So I have to be punished because she's who she is, and that's her hopes and dreams. And really all that's probably going to happen is in the end is her son's going to go to jail, who knows for how long. And she will have destroyed her son's life, which she really already has for the last 42 years, and she doesn't want that truth coming out. So that's pretty much it. And I'll leave it at that. And so now, when we talk about these people paid off in the judicial system to do this to me with worldwide support and billions of government dollars and these illegal operations, you sort of have to trace the roots from my early childhood at 5 years old, the psychology community, the police, high schools, colleges, how the government's using the internet with the psychology community, police and government to hunt and stalk me. In the end, that's what's the statement from my family. We hate our fucking son's guts, and this is what we did to him. That's it. That's the message. And maybe for a while, people will believe Kevin Perlman's crazy, but there's so much proof out there on the internet about me and who I really am that the entire situation is absurd to begin with. But that's the situation. And that is why Seymour was paid off to lose everything. I kind of wonder how much he was paid. Was he paid $1 million? Was he paid $100,000? I personally paid him $15,000. But you know money's coming in from another direction. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to leave this at there because I just sort of wanted to talk about what Seymour is doing now that I'm getting a new attorney. We also have other attorneys flat out saying that Seymour likes to put people in jail. From other attorneys. So think about that crime from the standpoint of the California Bar Association and what they would say about that. Okay, so that's it.